Humanizing autonomy through psychophysiological modeling of human drivers. My name is Arash Tavakoli and I work with Professor Heydarian at University of Virginia Link Lab. Autonomous vehicles are currently at level 2 of autonomy, meaning that they have partial automation. Level 2 autonomous vehicles are human-in-the-loop cyber-physical systems that require human input for a safe driving experience. This is especially important for the so-called edge cases, where the vehicle cannot figure out the road situation. Such reliance on human driver can quickly become unsafe if the driver is not in the optimal state, such as being drowsy, distracted, or drunk. Thus, we need a holistic estimation and prediction of driver's state, including driver's emotion, cognition, attention, as well as behavior for a safe, shared autonomy. Also, we know that contextual factors derive our behaviors. Context can be defined as any internal and external information that is relevant to a driving situation. Research has shown that contextual factors not only derive behaviors, we need to have a holistic representation of both internal and external context for a better contextual awareness. Internal context including contextual settings that is related to the driver, such as driver's emotion, cognition, and physiology. And the external context is everything in the environment, such as the road situation, the in-cabin situation, and social interactions in the vehicle. To contextualize driving, we need more naturalistic studies because these studies are longitudinal and they happen in real world that shows the real driving context. Previous research in naturalistic driving study were mainly focused on contextual setting of the external factors. These studies lack a deep understanding of the internal factors, such as driver's cognition, emotion, or physiology in naturalistic in the wild settings. This was partly due to the fact that we did not have access to human sensing devices other than cameras that can be used longitudinally and in the wild. However, with the current emergence of wearable devices, it is now viable to perform a deeper human sensing by utilizing such devices in the wild. To address this gap, we started a new naturalistic driving study titled Harmony, which is a human-centered multimodal driving study in the wild. Harmony builds the driving context through different modalities of data collected through wearables, cameras, and multiple APIs. In this study, we have provided 22 participants, each with a smart wearable that has an in-house app that collects driver's heart rate, hand acceleration, gyroscope, light in the environment, noise in the environment, and the location, as well as a camera in their car, which collects their facial videos, including their pose, direction, gaze direction, facial expression, as well as the outside condition, such as the object on the road or the other vehicles. With this, we have a multimodal view of driving context that takes into account both internal, such as driver's physiology, and the external factors. We aim to answer a couple of questions with this new naturalistic driving study. The questions are, how much data do we need? What is the utility of driver's heart rate? Does the multimodality of wearable device helps with the driving context recognition? And lastly, can we use this framework for a bigger scale in a city for routing services? First and foremost, how much physiological data do we need? As this was the first study that collected naturalistic driving data, we needed to know the answer or have a method to find the answer. Here we leverage kernel density estimation methods to demonstrate the importance of longitudinal sensing of human physiology in driving situations. We use the heart rate data from a participant passing through the same route from work to home that we retrieved from Harmony, and we looked at the change in the distribution of heart rate data when we analyze it through different days. We see that at least 3 months of data is required to retrieve underlying variability in the participant's heart rate, meaning that this cannot be achieved with just a couple of days, and also showing the importance of longitudinal sensing. We then ask the question of utility of driver's heart rate. Can it be used as a feedback to environmental events? Because in that case, the vehicle can know driver's feedback to certain environmental situations. Here we use driver's HR and we applied Bayesian change point detection methods on the HR retrieved through Harmony. We then looked at the video for the reasons in certain points that a change point occurs in driver's HR. We see that change points is related to specific environmental events that can cause discomfort, which is going to be one of the bases for a future autonomous vehicle to decide, for instance, to whether pass a vehicle or follow a vehicle. For instance, here we are looking at a video of a driver passing through a road from Charlottesville to Washington, D.C. And we see that as the lead vehicle is blocking the driver's view, the driver's heart rate increases and it stays elevated for the full time of passing the lead vehicle. We then ask the question a little bit deeper. Are smart wearables capable of detecting drivers' state and behaviors in the wild? We took the data from 15 participants and we built machine learning models to detect 3 categories of driver's activity, driving events, and driving environments in the wild. We see that the smart wearables are capable of categorizing these categories with more than 95% accuracy. While having detected these categories of driving events, we then integrate our models with current routing systems to provide human-centered routing. Examples include choosing between routes that have similar estimated time of arrival, but different infrastructural elements, such as number of intersections. Here we are interested in bringing Harmony dataset to even a larger scale, over a city. We want to see if heart rate can be used to provide human-centered routing, so to decrease the stress levels of drivers when they commute. We proposed an empathetic routing framework, which takes human sensing data, such as heart rate or other physiological measures collected through conventional smart wearable devices. It pre-processes it and then matches the heart rate points to GPS locations. Then it builds a database of infrastructural elements that are associated with high heart rates, which is basically higher stress levels. Lastly, it provides routes based on the locations that are associated with lower heart rate values. Here you're looking at the data collected from drivers in the city of Charlottesville. We can clearly see that this data shows higher or lower heart rate values in different areas of the city. Note that this data has been collected over a 1-year study period. Lastly, we showcase the approach through 3 different routes in city of Charlottesville between points A and B, which have somewhat of a similar estimated time of arrival. We see that although these routes might be very similar in how fast you will reach there, they can be very different in the average heart rate of historical data collected from drivers passing through these routes. We can also see that such data can be used for urban designers to find out which part of the town is generally associated with higher stress or lower stress, and so on. The future work of this area includes designing a reinforcement learning agent that performs routing by considering both time of arrival and changes in driver's heart rate. Contact us if you are interested in our research, uvabrainlab.com.